Boom. Hey. 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 Load it. POTUS. POTUS. I do. Ha. You already know what it is.
Yeah. We here.
Black family, what the fuck is up?
What's the deal?
We doing shit a little different today. We letting the people come in, you know what I'm saying? Play a little bit of music. Because we want to make sure the sound's right. We're tired of the sound fucking up. We always want to make sure we got the crispy sound for y'all. So we want to make sure everything sounds good. I'm going to give y'all a little time to roll up in here. We got some topics that we want to talk about. Y'all already know what's about to go down. We started a little bit earlier at 10:40. That's a good thing. A test. Stress. Yeah. So you already know, man. We're going to wait a minute before we start on these topics. Yeah, go ahead. Keep it playing. We're going to play that song through. Yeah. Oh, it sound good? Yeah, that sounded good right there. That was that right there. That was the mic check. So y'all personally sound the mic check. The mic check sounds amazing. That's amazing right there. So we're going to go ahead and let this song play out. And once this song is over, we're going to go ahead and get to the topics and we're going to see how everything's going. Happy Tuesday to everybody. We're almost at the middle of the week. It seemed like we're just talking about the beginning of the week, Monday.
Back.
We're almost at the weekend. So shout out to the people. I'll be right back. Hallelujah.
Wait.
Sometimes it's like it just seems like a fight. Forget who you walking lost in the way. Money them hold up and never can say. Stable the problem, it's all great. Running your mind, feeling it. Running your mind, so hard to just change. Running your mind, sometimes I don't feel safe. Open the door, every when I just pray. Open the door, every when I just pray. Smoking, drinking with a real bitch. Niggas wishing that I just quit. Most my people won't follow it. Got me ready just on time. Need you ready just on time. Wonder what really up next. My 5 minutes up quick. How the fuck come up? Smoking, drinking with a real bitch.
What's y'all? I just wanted to say this real quick. Whoever that fuck motherfucker talking that shit in that one comment looking for this song, I didn't know this was the intro. So nigga, either way, it's still us. Bitch ass nigga.
You gotta tell them about that. I know this was happening.
Hey, rest in peace to that man, Bean, bro. Rest in peace to the man, Bean Bryant. We call Kobe. It's crazy, man. What happened to that man? That man right there, man. Young. Look, tell y'all, man. Y'all be realistic at one point, man. And I got to be realistic around freshman year. When I was 5'2", I was like, yeah, all right. Dudes out here soaring, getting that buzz. I'm not saying I can't be good or great, but I'm not gonna be talked with the. You see how hard it is for people even consider Brown with Jordan. Like he's not getting touched. Like if I'm not going to the NBA getting 6, 7 in a row, LeBron going to the finals 8 times. They not even trying to credit that. You know what I mean? Like, so you feel me? Y'all be realistic out there. But at the end of the day, you gotta make your own path as great as it can be. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is, man, we here. We trying to figure out what the fuck going on. Am I lying? We here and we trying to get. Excuse my language. Come at you like that. Early. Well, it's late. It's early late.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Shout out to the people, man. Shout out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the one person who joined us for this live stream, man. The whole goal of what we're doing over here, man, obviously we want to just keep improving the channel. We want to keep giving y'all content, but really the goal at the end of the day is to that. But as of now, you know what I'm saying? What you're seeing for face value, what you get. No bullshit. That's what we're here all about. So that's what it is, man. Shout out to the people for joining us. So first and foremost, it's a Tuesday, so I always got to start off with, man, saying, how'd your Tuesday go? How would you rate it out of 5? And how would you like to look back on it and maybe try to change some things? How you feel, Zen? You heard me?
Yeah, my fault. Hold on. I got you right now.
Yo,
Give me
go
like
ahead.
5. Look, my day today. It wasn't shit. I'm sorry, y'all. It wasn't. It just wasn't one of those days that I was enthused. They wasn't really shit. I'm sorry. If I had to rate it one, it was weak. Nothing really elaborate on because if I do, I'll probably get upset. So it was a 1. Yours?
Absolutely, I'm right there with you. I'll give it a -1.
Okay.
Today was
I
terrible.
know you see. Look, you over here switching up the chart. I thought it was.
I had to go because I'm like, today was terrible. But, you know, that's what we here. We're giving y'all the real what it is. You know what I'm saying? You see us. You know what I'm saying? We look like we cooling, we chilling. Right now, like if you just want to rate the night, like, you know what I'm saying? My night's been solid, but for the whole day, yeah. So definitely -1, but always, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this, like I want to put this as a disclaimer too. When I say certain things, I'm not necessarily saying it because that's a lifestyle I'm living or that's how I'm thinking all the time. I'm kind of saying it for myself, so I could be like, damn, put shit into perspective. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I watch this back and I see it's like, okay, if I was talking that shit at the end of the day, I need to at least try and actually do that shit. And one of the things is move on, go to the next day, and you know what I'm saying, at the very least be optimistic. And you know what I'm saying, hope that tomorrow's going to be a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, most people can at least, you know what I'm saying, at least if you're open-minded, you can put yourself in a position where you know there's some people that's having it a lot worse. Excuse me. And they're dealing with a lot worse things day to day. So you have to try and keep that in mind. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, shit is what it is. And you just got to be, you know what I'm saying, as optimistic as possible. Because I'm changing the word. It used to be Mr. Positivity. I'm still Mr. Positivity to the day I die. But right now, it's not necessarily always being positive, but at least being optimistic. And, you know what I'm saying, like tomorrow's going to be a little bit better. So that's what I'm on right now, man. I'm like, hopefully it can't get no worse than a -1. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to be at.
My shit might jump to a -2 tomorrow.
I'm hoping not. You know what I'm saying? It is, you know, so.
I already know. I'm about to spend some cheese, man.
I feel you, man. I got two this weekend. I found out, you know what I'm saying, for the whip, it wasn't what I thought it was.
Y'all dig deep. I get y'all goddamn feet in them damn trenches and y'all dig deep because I'm telling you, I'm digging.
At least do it like these 3 days consistently is when I think about like from a year from now, anything like that. Like I'm getting more to the point where like I'm getting away from always feeling like we got to talk about sports or, you know, what's sometimes it's just us talking shit. And then also not just like, damn, it's like the more and more I do, it's like there's just no filter. Like, why? Like, nigga, we ain't like nobody give a fuck about Black Goose television right now. So I'm gonna talk all the shit in the world. Like, absolutely. That's what I want them to do. So the more I'm on this, the more we're doing this, I'm getting comfortable. I'm just like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still waiting for that day. Well, hopefully, if you know, because we still at the end of the day, we do still cover sports. Y'all see the headlines. We talk, you know, to the main topics on it. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about boxing. But if you've been in our streams before, we usually always kind of go off on different tangents and topics, and for the most part. But like, you know, we still talk sports, so we are waiting for that good card to have so we can do that live stream. We you know what I'm saying, we just haven't felt like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch nothing with no fans, no energy.
The card has to be crazy. That's all. I'll do it if the card's crazy.
That last card, I'm glad because I was finna hit you. I'm like, he hit me not going live. Maybe he feeling like I don't feel. So I just let it be. But on God, bro, I looked at it. I said, "Oh, decision."
The only good fight.
Only cool if I know the fight was gonna be legit.
Or yeah, the only good fight was literally I think it was like the last 3 fights. Last 3 fights were solid. The main event was absolutely amazing. Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker was crazy. I called it. That's the only time that when I was watching it, I was like, this is where I do wish I was on live. Because from the beginning, I was like, I know Dustin's gonna win this fight.
Is he gonna get another shot
at the title? As long as Khabib got the belt, no. Khabib, he's dictating who he fights, and Khabib usually only fights about 1 to 2 times a year.
Even fight, bro, into like 2022 or something, bro. They not letting him out.
Maybe I'll say later this year. He's supposed to. Yeah, they already got. He's fighting Gaethje, Justin Gaethje, August, I believe.
Easy, dude.
Absolutely. One thing though, I want to say that Justin does give. That's a little bit different than.
With y'all. Shout out to the people. Drop a like if you just came in. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. The one thing I will say a little bit different that Justin does bring to the game that other than he's fought. Like, to be honest, like in my opinion, the best chance of Khabib getting beat is actually Conor. You know what I'm saying? I never thought it was Tony. I think Tony gives him obviously a hard opposition and it questions you to wonder how he'll do on the ground. But at the end of the day, I think Khabib would be too strong for Tony's jiu-jitsu to actually mean anything. That's my opinion. But when it comes to Conor, I feel like he had the best opportunity if he was actually in the sport consistently. because his understanding of range management and him having that knockout power, or at least that power in that one punch, that's rare for guys at that weight class because those are smaller guys.
Do you think that he's just too
Not range management, the power.
little for Khabib?
Justin's actually a big boy for his weight class.
No, I'm in Connor.
Oh, Connor, yeah. Well, when we're talking about in the grappling aspect, when you're talking about grappling, he doesn't cut enough weight for it to actually be a problem.
I'm just gonna play the other side. I'm like, I just don't think Connor has it, bro, to beat him, especially now.
Not now,
about
no.
4 years
But
ago,
that's why I said I was like, if he was consistently still in the game, like if he was still competing, if he was still training, that was his everything, and he didn't go off and do the boxing thing and all that type of thing, I think Connor would have been one of the probably few people who could actually give Khabib actual competition, can actually make it seem like a threat that he could lose, like him, because I'm like, we already saw it with Michael Johnson. That was only like the first minute of the fight. But see, Michael Johnson, you've seen what happened to him after Khabib. I'm not saying that doesn't dispute because Michael Johnson, I always raved about him. All the way when he was on the Ultimate Fighter, I followed his whole career. I always knew Michael Johnson could be a lot better than what he was because he was such a good boxer, but he was a wrestler to start off with. But his boxing was so crisp, his footwork was on point. He just got too emotional when he was in fights, and that comes down to how you train. But we're not gonna get in that. What we're gonna get into is Michael Johnson. He landed. He was so quick that he landed something on Khabib that hurt him a little bit. And I think Connor's kind of in that same aspect where it's not necessarily he's as quick, but his understanding of range and distance. And he has that one knockout punch power, not at that weight class, but he has power behind it. And it's not necessarily that he has natural born given power, but he's so precise. His precision is what actually makes up some of the power that he'll lack going up in weight, is this precise. Because you saw him, he dropped a 170-pound Nate Diaz over and over. Like, that's impressive. Not too many people you can say drop Nate Diaz that way, with just being precise with that straight right down the middle left hand. That's something you have to give credit for. But that's not what we're talking about. Because I do remember prior when motherfuckers used to call me Connor fanboys. You know, I'm far from that. I never been a motherfucker to praise Connor. I just respect the skill. Justin gives an interesting competition to Khabib because, one, he's a bigger guy. He is a big boy. Justin's a big boy. I'm like, Tony was 5'11". He looks small compared to Justin. I think Justin, they list him as 5'11" too, but I think he's about 6 feet. He looks about 6 feet. So he's a big boy. Wrestling is outstanding. His range management it's not like Connor's, because Connor's range management is in a sense where it's karate based. So we're talking about a much safer distance of being able to throw and keep the hands lower. Justin's is more so Muay Thai kind of boxing. I say a little bit more boxing range. So that does give you a threat of actually getting that leg taken. But because Justin's so good at boxing, that's something he's not, wrestling. That's something that he's not going to really worry about because he feels like his wrestling is that good. But go ahead. What would you say? Go ahead, throw a like off.
Anybody probably like, what are you doing? I'm doing that because I'm just like, bro, all that's good and well. He probably just kicked. He probably kicked real fat. But none of that matters if he gets tired. And that's what's gonna come down. What's his cardio?
I love you said that. Because if y'all know Justin outworked Tony. Justin is proven, man. He's a warrior. He never gets tired. Justin does not get tired. We saw Alec Quinta. I know what you're saying. It's a different type of tired when you're fighting Khabib. Because at some point, I'm like, if you're fighting
you used
Khabib,
to tell me Michael Johnson.
Well,
you fought him. Hold on. Before Michael Johnson fought, you told me, bro, Michael Johnson got a tank. I'm telling you, crazy.
Absolutely.
He just keep coming. Look,
but did he stop coming at any point? He didn't give up when he was getting his ass fucked up,
bro. He stopped.
That's
coming.
cardio.
Second round, he stopped coming. He started retreating, and that's why he started losing like that. Because he start going backwards, bro. Come on, bro. I watched the fight. We was both agreeing that he should have been got called.
But he started real quick. He started going backwards because when you're a striker and you start to go backwards when we're coming to MMA, it's because you're now wary of getting taken down. You can't be a guy who moves forward in striking and you're going against someone who's a great wrestler because it's going to be so easy for them to just take that leg. So you're going to start getting it more in the defensive, not necessarily because you're tired or you're scared, but because I know if he shoots, it's going to be easier for me to throw my hips back. It's harder for you to throw your hips back if you're walking towards somebody. Like, all you have to do is just try it. Walk towards someone, try to throw your hips back. It takes a lot longer. Already being a movement where you're moving back like this, like my hips are already back if I'm moving back. Boom. At the time, I didn't obviously process that. But now it's like that was a change of game plan. Was it the smartest change of game plan at this point? I think yes, because I don't think Michael Johnson could beat Khabib even on his best day. I don't think no one could beat Khabib even on their best day. I don't know no one right now that I could really name and be like, I'll bet against them to beat Khabib. And see, if you're talking about him moving up in weight, shit, I'm gonna be real. If that motherfucker went up to 170,
Yeah, that is 170.
no, you 155. If he moves up to 170,
Woodley, right?
yeah. So I'm like Usman versus Khabib.
He'll give him work.
I think Khabib beats Usman. I'm gonna be 100 with you because
Yeah.
Kamaru does not have any type of power. He has the pace though to put on
We have to
Khabib.
just see what Khabib's stamina like at that weight.
That's the thing.
Because see,
When
with
he packs
DC
more weight on,
DC
is he
got
gonna have that
heavier-
same motor?
you see
Absolutely.
You see, his wrestling wasn't astounding.
Absolutely.
But
Great point.
Khabib's younger.
Appreciate that like, y'all. Go ahead, throw
Khabib is
another one.
younger. We gotta, appreciate that. Khabib is younger though. You know what I'm saying? Like DC is older,
Yeah,
but
that's a big point.
like, cause I
Khabib has a
see
lot
Khabib like
less wear and tear, too.
Khabib's like a Canelo of the UFC in my opinion. Like, of course
Yeah.
he lost to Money May, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm
I
like,
like that. I like that comparison.
yeah, because I'm just like, think about it. Like, Canelo really beats everybody in the middleweight division.
Because and then Conor would be Money May because people would expect Conor to be the guy who carries the sport, but now they got to focus on Khabib to carry the sport because Conor's like, I can do anything to make money. Khabib's more so like, hey, I gotta be in, and so that's the guy they're gonna be relying on to carry the sport right now. How do you feel about all these guys asking for more money? Well, not all these guys, but John Jones, Jorge Masvidal saying we want more money and we're willing to sit out, or they're gonna sue the UFC because they feel like they're not getting compensated.
I think.
You think it's rightly? You think they're in the right?
They're right, but they're not thinking bright.
So talk about it. Do you feel like? Well, let me ask this: do you think John Bone Jones and Jorge Masvidal for them? Do you think
John
they're-
deserves anything low key he asked for, but he can't.
I'm gonna have to dispute that.
Hold on. Let me see. Look, I wasn't
dispute
done.
that.
You can't. You just jumped in.